So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at positive and negative numbers. So these are also known as integers. So you need to know that word integers because we're not often going to say positive and negative numbers. They'll usually be called integers. So in general, we work with this set of positive numbers. If you think about a number line starting at 0, then as you go to the right, the numbers get bigger and bigger. And these are positive numbers. But that's not the only part of a number line. There's a whole other side of the number line that goes in the other direction. Now, you're going to see that they are a mirror image of the numbers on the right-hand side. So mirror image, everything is reversed, yes? And to make sure that we know they're on the right-hand side, what we do is we put a little minus in front of them. So that's not the same as a subtraction symbol. What it really means is, it means the opposite of. So these numbers are considered to be opposites. So 4 and, we call that negative 4, are opposites. So every positive number has an opposite. Now notice there's one number in the middle though, 0. 0 has no opposite because it means nothing, right? So it can't have an opposite. So today what we're going to do is we're just going to spend a little time looking at some pictures and doing some things where we're just going to talk about positive and negative numbers. Positive and negative numbers are used to describe different types of situations. But the big idea today is that idea of the opposites. Okay? So what we're going to do is look in our books at a few examples of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, starting with 0, those are actually called the whole numbers, not the natural numbers. That's a little bit of an error. But anyway, so let's look at some scenarios. You can have money in your bank account, or you can owe the bank money. Having money is a positive number. Owing money is a negative number. Yeah? Good. You can have temperatures that are above 0 or below 0. Okay? You can have height above sea level and below sea level. Above would be positive, below is negative. You can have purchases on a credit card, in which case you owe money, so that's a negative, and you could pay off the balance, which is a positive, right? You pay it off. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some real-world applications and some situations that would require you to use both positive and negative numbers. Okay? Now, positive numbers are any number that's greater than 0. Remember the number line we just saw? And they can be written with a plus in front of them. But most of the time, we just assume that the plus is there. So if I just write a 10, I just assume that that's positive 10. Okay? Okay. But negative numbers, however, must have their minuses. So if you want to write negative 10, you have to put that minus in front of it, that negative in front of it, or else you cannot assume it's negative. Because if you don't have a minus in front of it, then it's going to be not negative 10, but positive 10. Yeah? So you have to have the negative in front of negatives. You do not have to write the positive in front of a positive. So let's just look at a few sentences. 10 meters above sea level, that's a positive 10. Having $30, that's plus 30. 3 floors above ground level, that would be plus 3. Okay? Let's look at some examples of negatives. Okay? 10 meters below sea level, negative 10. If you owed $30, that would be a negative number. 3 floors below ground level would be written as negative 3. Okay? So, here are some words that you're going to see, some key phrases in words that mean either positive or negative. Now, some of these you might not think of as being positive and negative. So we're going to think about what that means. All right? So, let's take a look at them. Above, that's pretty easy. Above is always going to be a positive. Increase, if it goes up, that means you're adding to it, so it's a positive. Profit is positive. Here's one that's a little weird, though. Right is always a positive. And the reason for that is think about the number line. As you go right, that's the positive zone. You're going up, right? And that's why we think of it as right, okay? We think of 0 as being having things to the right or the left, okay? So look at the negative ones. Below, negative, decrease, loss, and now we know that left also would mean a negative. So if you move left on the number line, you're moving in the negative direction. A few others here with some surprises, probably. Fast, positive, slow, negative. Win, positive, lose, negative. But look at these. These are directions. But if you think about how you measure directions, have you ever seen a compass before? You've got north at the top, then what? East, south at the bottom, west. Yeah? So we have the points of a compass. When you think of the points on a compass, I'm just going to draw a big right over the top of this. So the points of a compass, you have north at the top, east, west, south and west, okay? So if you think of this as the 0 over the number line, north is actually the same as saying up or above, right? So that's why we think of it as positive. South is like saying going down, so that's why it's negative. East is going right, so it's a positive. And west is going left, that's why we think of it as negative. So think of the compass in which direction, up, down, right, or left. Okay? So those might be a little surprising that we think of those as having either being positive or negative. Okay. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at a few examples in class where we're going to have a picture in some of them, and some of them they're going to just give us a scenario written out in words, and you're going to have to decide whether the numbers are positive or negative. Okay? So we'll be doing that in class in our workbook.